Welcome to the Northern Soul channel. We're here discussing the Ghost Recon Wildlands and how to get a maximum range shot sniping playing solo. So this is a technique that I use to get a shot out to 1258, I think, meters total. And you can go more than that. I've done some testing on this stuff, so I'm going to show you here in video footage, explain how you can get a maximum shot and what to watch out for and how it can translate into the game. So stay tuned and let's get into it. So first thing we want to do is where to shoot. And on the map I went over to the Salt Flats. So if you're not aware, it's like in the upper left hand corner of the map, and there's the Salt Flats there, and there's a Unidad base. On screen you can see it right now. Looking at it, there's the mountain behind it, and I'm actually on the Salt Flat. So what I'm doing is I'm taking I'll mark an actual enemy. In this case, since it's Unidad base, it's Unidad. There's one guy that walks along the wall. He does a patrol. So that's the guy I focus on for this long shot. And since you're out in the Salt Flats, you have a perfect horizontal shot to do this, so it doesn't end up messing up your holdovers, such as if you're on a hill or something, or people are trying to get on the top of the highest mountain or something like that and shoot down. That changes the actual, because of gravity and there is bullet drop in the game, it changes your holdover, so you don't get a consistent shot. So you want to have a nice flat surface, like such as the Salt Lands or the Salt Flats here in the desert. So the technique here for solo, because you need somebody to mark it, the actual enemy, and then be in the range of it so that it doesn't go off your it doesn't go, like the marker doesn't disappear, so then you don't even know where the person is. So you want to just, in solo, you can see it's solo because I got the AI following me like an idiot in front of the muzzle, real safe. And you're going to want to mark the character either in your binoculars or your drone inside of like 300 meters or so. Have them marked, and then go into your scope view and then just walk backwards into the desert, holding the scope view open the whole time. So the trick is to have them in the scope. If you go out of the scope, once you're past 600 meters, and this is generally speaking, in the game, the marker will disappear. And I think it's about 600. It's either 500 or 600, the marker disappears, generally speaking. So this is the way to do it. You just hold them in the scope and just walk backwards. It's slow and tedious, but I mean, if you're going for that shot, it's going to be one of those things where you need a bit of luck and a bit of a setup. And then you don't have to tell your friends how you did it, and they'll be struggling to try to figure out how to keep the enemy on the screen so they can make their shot. Now the problem with having it with the
like this seems kind
the screen open with the scope open like this is that when you reload, the person will disappear because you go out of scope mode. So you only have whatever size magazine capacity you have to do to make your long shot kill before
there's actually a tiny chance that
the
this is all legit.
see right there, the person disappeared off the map. So there is a maximum distance you can shoot this, and it's 1.6 kilometers or 1600 meters is where it won't even draw in. It'll like despawn the actual character even in scope mode. So I don't know if it's possible to go past that. It's probably like either hardware limitation or programming set up in the programming, so you don't have things drawn like 8 kilometers away. So the maximum shot, I think with that knowledge you can even take in this game using this technique would be 1.599999 meters, because once you go 1.6 kilometers, they disappear. So I had to move forward once again, and then I'm going to use my drone to reacquire the target. And you can see this is the base here, and I'm just going to get the guy walking along the fence line doing his patrol. Once I pick him up,
I got eyes on a generator.
then you'll see I'll go into scope mode again. Now for long distance shooting, in this case, I recommend any of the Magnum rounds rifles. So you're talking the MSR, the L115A3, which in real life would be Accuracy International. It's just a weird code for a military rifle. The is it HTI? I think it's the HTI, the 50 caliber sniper rifle, anti-material rifle, and the SR1. Those are the ones that I recommend. So you're either using a 50 BMG or 338 Lapua caliber in that case. So any of those rifles will do the job. For the shot that I did long distance, I used the HTI only because it's got maximum penetration and stuff like that, or it's not as good as the 338. So I was kind of saving that as a last ditch resort. So I thought I'd try it with the 50 first, and it worked. So I'll show you the footage coming up after with that, and you can see it with the holdover and everything. And I'm using the specific scope. So yeah, I might as well talk about the parts of the gun and stuff that you'll need. So you're going to maximize, in this case, all the skills for sniping. So you'll want to be like advanced sniper, advanced, like everything. The steady, holding the reticle steady and stuff like that. You want to max everything out before you even want to really attempt this. And suppressor off for this. If you want more tips and tricks on sniping generally, like how to take out a base and stuff like that, I'll post another video for that sort of thing. But just to keep this a little bit shorter, the idea is you want to have long barrel, maximum magazine capacity. So if you can get extended magazine, that would be good, because then you'll have like 10 rounds instead of 5 rounds. Or in the case of the HTI, the maximum capacity is 5 anyways. So in that case, you'll have 5 attempts to kill the person at range. Whereas if you take one of the 338s, typically they have a 10 round magazine, so you have 10 chances to do it before you'll have to reload, you'll lose the target, and then you'll have to fly back, reacquire the target, and then walk backwards again up to 1.599 meters or kilometers. So it can be one of those things that you need a bit of luck to hit the mark. In this case as well, you can also use the thermo imaging. You're never going to see the target because the target itself visually despawns at like 600 meters. So you're just kind of using the tag as a reference on where now the enemy's still there, but you're not going to be able to visually see it. So this is why it's so challenging. And you're going to have to watch your trace fire as you shoot in order to see where it's landing, in order to understand where your holdover is. So understanding how many mil dots, or in this case they're like lines, mil lines, you have to go down or raise the actual muzzle up in order to hit them with that rainbow of trajectory of the bullet. And the different rifles will have a different trajectory as well. So you're gonna have to get familiar with the rifle itself. So also recommend just picking one of those rifles and just sticking with it. That way you don't have to relearn a new rifle every time you switch out, and then it might shoot a little bit differently. And you also consistently want to be using the same scope. So in this case, the scope I'm using is a T5XI tactical. It's probably the highest magnification, which is pretty pathetic considering the scope looks very serious, but it's a 6x, which I guess if it was a variable scope and it was high powered, it would be on the lowest setting then. I don't know why they don't have at least an 8x or a 10x, which is the military standard, especially on a 50 caliber or something like that anti-material rifle. That's going to be like, 1.2 kilometers or more. You'd want something at least 10 times. But they don't offer it in the game, so what are you going to do, right? So it's one of those things. But at least they give you plenty of mil dots in order to do the holdover. So yeah, I just walk back, and it's nighttime. That's why I have the therm optics on, because it's going to be difficult to even. It's not illuminated reticle like the mil dots. It's just the crosshair that's illuminated. So you're going to have pretty much black on black. You'll never even see your lines. So that's why I'm doing. I switch over to therm optics in order for the contrast, so I can see where my crosshair is. And you're going to be using the marker as, and you know their head's like a foot below the marker typically. So you're going to be using that marker as a reference point to shoot. So beyond that, we're going to get into the shooting of it, which the holdover is quite extreme. So yeah, let's get to it then. So here's the actual footage of the shot I actually took with proof, and I had to do the holdover. This is about 12. It showed on the when I highlighted it was like 1.3 kilometers away, and it ended up being 1258 meters, so 1.258 kilometers. And I had to do a holdover of 7 mil dots. So you can see I'm watching the arc of the round. Yeah, that's one good part about night. The tracer fire is easy to kind of follow, and it was shooting a bit low, so I had to raise it up. And there's the kill right there. And you'll see the confirm. So I had 5 rounds to do it because this is the 50 caliber, and I did it in 4. Bit of luck on that one, but I managed to figure out the arc, and the guy eventually ends up stopping when he's patrolling the fence once you go to a certain distance, which is good because you want a stationary target. So there's the proof there with the longest shot, and I'm just going to show the weapon that I was using. So it shows MSR. That was my backup rifle. I was going to switch to that if I didn't end up hitting it with the 50. And the MSR is probably the longest shooting accurate rifle in the game. I like the SR1 as well, but the 50 is pretty flat shooting, which is what you want. So thanks for watching. Subscribe and check out my other videos at Northern Soul.